Welcome back to the zone trading. Once again, I'm 11, and in today's video we'll be talking about Trendline, one of the simplest tools in the chart, but also one of the most abused. A lot of traders think they are drawing Trendline correctly, but they are actually forcing lines in the chart and getting bad trading decisions because of it. On this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I approach Trendline, what to pay attention to, and the mistake that causes most traders to get them wrong. Let's get right into it. So before we get started, I want us to actually talk about what is a trend line. Imagine a trend line as a road. Imagine a trend line as a road guiding the price. When you draw the line, it becomes much easier to see where the market is heading to. An uptrend trend line shows buyers are in control, while a downtrend trend line shows sellers are dominating the market. So let me just give a quick example of that using the line. Like I said, you should imagine a trend line as a road guiding price. If this is price going up, down, up, down, up. How do you draw your trend line in a situation like this? You just start your trend line from the peak of the first low, connect it to the second low, and then just extend it into the future. And wait for price to come back and definitely respect that trend line. Use it as a support and form of support and resistance to just keep going up. You see, we have first touch, second touch, and third touch. This is example of a bullish trend line. So let me give an example of a bearish trend line. This is the road down, then this is price. As it's going down, it's using the trend line as a resistance to keep pushing down. So that is what I mean by an uptrend line shows buyers are in control, and a downward trend line shows sellers are in control. So this is just a textbook example of how to draw trend line. How do you actually do this in the chart? Now let's go for the bearish scenario first. So if this is a bearish market and I'm just coming to my chart, this is the time frame that I trade, and I want to know if this market is actually trending down and how I would participate in the downtrend of this market. I will just draw my trend line. We have this first point here. You see the market from this was the first point of the market. It came down till this point, then sorry about that. Then it came back to tap around this level, then it dropped this level and dropped. So how do we now draw our trend line? Remember, a trend line, while drawing a trend line, you want to start from the first movement, take it to the second point of the market, then extend it into the future. This is how to draw a bullish trend line. You do not draw it from the first peak and try and force it into any areas that you feel like, oh, let me just put it here. I think. No, you don't think. When drawing a trend line, you should be logical. You take it from point A to point B, then extend it into the future and wait for price to just come into that zone to react and then head back down. So for a bullish scenario, what you want to do is taking a look at a market like this. You see the market started trending up from this level. It went up to this level, came down to this level, then it pushed up. How I will draw my trend line in a situation like this, I will draw from the first point of this, we identify it as our point A, this is our point B, then you extend it into the future and wait for price to come and tap into that level to react. Then you know what you do. You wait for price to, you wait for price to come into the third touch of your trend line to act, then you react. It is very simple logic. If you trade on the daily time frame, all you want to do is come on the daily time frame and look for the trend line of the trend of the market by drawing out your trend line. On a downtrend like this, how I will draw my trend line is, this is the high of the market. The market dropped down into this level, came back to this point. All I want to do is identify my first point A, then make sure it's touching the point B, then just extend it into the future and wait for the market to come back into our trend line level to act, then we react. So if this is our point A, this is the point B, you can see how the market came back after dropping down from this level. It came back into the trend line and then it reacted here and then it just kept melting. So if you want to use this trend line again in the future, all you have to do is wait for the market to come back into the trend line, tap into the trend line, react, act there, and then you react, then follow the market back to the downside. So drawing your trend line, it's not that simple, but a lot of traders, I see a lot of traders complicating this. And this is a bearish example. You can also have a bullish example in a situation like this. If this is to be our trend line, let me take this off. I'm trying to use the replay tool. So on a situation like this, you see from this point the market was heading to the top, which is here. If I'm to draw my trend line in a situation like this, you see the market moved from point A, it went up, came back down to point B. So all I want to do is draw my trend line from point A to point B. I'll just extend it into the future. You see how the market reacted here, point A, point B. While the market was just busy moving up, down, I was just patiently waiting for the market to come back into my trend line and give me a signal, wait for the market to act, and then once I see that the market is bouncing off from this trend line third touch here, this is where I will now be looking for an entry to take a buy back to the most recent high. So this is basically how you draw your trend line. It is not so complicated. I do not know why a lot of traders tend to complicate this topic a lot, but drawing your trend line should be logical. You don't have to force anything. And a few common mistakes that I see most traders making while drawing trend line is they force the trend line to fit price. If it doesn't naturally touch, then it's not valid. Drawing too many lines, if you one of the mistakes that a lot of traders made while drawing trend line is drawing too many lines. If your chart look messy with too many trend line, you will confuse yourself. So what I will advise on that part is keeping it clean. Keep your chart as clean as possible. Then secondly, ignoring proper touch. A valid trend line need at least 2 clean touch, just like this, point A, point B, 2 clean touch. The third one will take care of itself. Like I said, a valid trend line needs 2 clean touches. If price is not respecting it, don't draw it. Don't draw it. For that, let me just quickly give you an example on that. You see this level, there's another level here. You just draw it. If the price is not respecting it, don't start forcing it that, oh, this one is not working. let me see if I can get a trend line from here. You draw this one again. Oh, this one is not touching. Let me see if I can get. No, just draw it from the first point, connect it to the second point, and then just extend it into the future. If it is correct, the market will definitely react when it gets to that point. Then thirdly, once the trend line is correctly drawn, price will usually do two things. One is it will either bounce or it will break. If it respects the trend line, it bounces and continue in the same direction. If it breaks through the trend line, it may signal a possible change in direction or reversal. But remember, the most important part in drawing the trend line is drawing it correctly first. Everything else will come after. If you cannot draw it right, you cannot trade. You can definitely not trade it right. So drawing your trend line, it's not that complicated. If you are to draw your trend line, like I said, you just have to connect it from point A to point B, then extend it into the future. Just wait for the market to do its thing, and then you see. So if you made it this far, I was just trying to make this video. Trendline topic is not something that it's actually that difficult for a lot of traders to not understand. It is as easy as it looks. It is very, very easy. Connect from point A to point B and wait for the market to give you the third touch. Then you execute. So if you made it this far, I appreciate you for watching. And if this lesson help you see trendline differently, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the Zone Trading, and join our free Telegram community. The link will be on the description on this video. Now, before you go, there's one video I need you to watch next. I recently made a video on support and resistance, and honestly, if you understand support and resistance together with trend line, you will have a much more better understanding on how price move. If you should combine support and resistance with trend line, your trading will be very, very much easier for you. So don't leave yet. Click on the support and resistance video that's on the screen right now and watch the video next after you watch this trendline video. Once again, I'm Boy 11 and this is the Trading Zone. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.